Very exciting class today. Give me 1 second, Dito. Send out a notice to everybody. And check to make sure we are online. Facebook. We are online. Very nice. And we are just about ready to go. And yeah, right camera, right microphone. Okay. So as normal, during the month of Kartik, we chant what? The Damodarashika prayers. Let's get the guitar. Okay. Let's go. Oh, I know I forgot something. Okay, let's do it this way. Shasha Kampat Trire Kankanta Sita Drivam Damodaro Ike Drixra Lila Bear Ananda Kunday Shumni Majanta Madhya Bayanta Tadi Sita Shumakta Jitatwa Unak Prema Tastam Shajja Mokshavatimva Nachanya Vraneham Vare Shana Ranga Gopala Bala Sada me manas Yavirastam Imanyay Inam Devu Kambojam Atyantam Nilay Ritam Guntalai Strikta Raktas Chandobya Mohos Jumvitam Bimap Raktaname Manasavir Rastam Malam Lakshavai Namo Deva Damodara Ananta Vishnu Prasida Prabhu Dukkha Chalavimanam Padristi Vristati Dinam Bhatanu Grahane Shama Madhyame Yakshirisha Uveran Majomada Muchaiva Yadvat Twayo Jito Bhakti Vajo Kritoja Tata Prema Bhaktim Swakam Me Prayacha Namo Kshegur Kumesi Namo Nareha Namaste Sudhamne Spuradipti Damne Twadi Udarayata Vishvashadamne Namo Radhikaya Swatyaya Priyaya Namo Nandalalaya Devaya Dubhyam Namo Swaram Sachit Anandurupam Satkundalam Gokule Rajamanam Yasodamiyo Rukalan Dapama Maram Rishtama Danda Dotru Chadubya Adamunarana, Adamunaragone, Adamunarana, Adamunaragone, Radhe, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravatakacharya also Teta Satashi Shimad, His Divine Grace Abhaya Charanana Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Anantakoti Vaishnav Vrind Ki Jai. Namacharya Shilahidas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shidwaita Gadadha Shivasati Gaur Bhakta Vrind Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radhakrishna Gopikapanath Saim Kunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavanam Ki Jai. Mathuradam Ki Jai. Jagannath Swami Ki Jai. Yamunamai Ki Jai. Shrimati Lasi Devi Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrind Ki Jai. Gaura Premananda Hari Hari Bol. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glory is to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharani Devasesha Srinivadi Paschatya Desakarni. And we will read the translation to this poem written by Satyavrata Muni, or spoken by Satyavrata Muni, and written in the Padma Purana. To the Supreme Controller, who possesses an eternal form of blissful knowledge, whose glistening earrings swing to and fro, manifested himself in Gokula, who stole the butter that the gopis kept hanging from the rafters of their storerooms, and who then quickly jumped up and ran and retreated in fear of Madhya Yashoda, but was ultimately caught. To that Supreme Lord, Sri Damodar, I offer my humble obeisances. Upon seeing his mother's whipping stick, he cried and rubbed his eyes again and again with his two lotus hands. His eyes were fearful and his breathing quick, and as Mother Yashoda bound his belly with ropes, he shivered in fright and his pearl necklace shook. To the Supreme Lord Sri Damodar, who was bound by his devotee's love, I offer my humble obeisances. Those super excellent pastimes of Lord Krishna's babyhood drowned the inhabitants of Gokula in pools of ecstasy. To the devotees who were attracted only to his majestic aspect of Narayan and Vaikuntha, the Lord herein reveals, I am conquered and overwhelmed by pure loving devotion. To the Supreme Lord Damodar, my obeisances hundreds and hundreds of times. O Lord, although you were able to give all kinds of benedictions, I do not pray to you for liberation or eternal life in Vaikuntha nor any other boon. My only prayer is that your childhood pastimes may constantly appear in my mind. O Lord, I do not even want to know your feature of Paramatma. I simply wish that your childhood pastimes may ever be enacted in my heart. O Lord, the cheeks of your blackish lotus face, which is encircled by locks of curling hair, have become reddened like bimba fruit due to Mother Yashoda's kisses. What more can I describe than this? Millions of opulences are of no use to me, but may this vision constantly remain in my mind. O unlimited Vishnu, O Master, O Lord, be pleased upon me. I am drowning in an ocean of sorrow, and am almost like a dead man. Please shower the rain of mercy upon me, uplift me, and protect me with your nectarian vision. O Lord Damodar, in your form as a baby, Mother Yashoda bound you to a grinding stone with a rope for tying cows. You then freed the sons of Kuvera, Manigriva, and Nalakupara, who were cursed to stand as trees, and you gave them the chance to become your devotees. Please bless me in the same way. I have no desire for liberation into your effulgence. O Lord, the entire universe was created by Lord Rama, who was born from your abdomen, which was bound with a rope by Mother Yashoda. To this rope I offer my humble obeisances. I offer my obeisances to your most beloved Srimati Radharani and to your unlimited pastimes. Lord Damodar ki jai. Om Ganati Miranda Shah. Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Meditam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So, I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who so kindly opened my eyes with a torchlight of knowledge while I was blinded in the darkness of ignorance. So we're going to go ahead and read the Caitanya Caritamrta 18th chapter, which we're just starting right now. And in this 18th chapter, the part of the 18th chapter we're reading right now deals with Lord Chaitanya's discovery of Radhakund and Shaimakund. It's a very exciting chapter. Actually, all chapters are exciting, but this particular chapter is exciting because Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in Braj, and he is discovering all these amazing things, especially Radhakund and Shaimakund. So we're very, very fortunate to be hearing about this tonight. Okay, so let's go. Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. So get ready for some excitement. The discovery of Radhakund and Shaimakund by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Hey Mata Mahaprabhu Nachite Nachite Arit Krame Asivaya Haila Achambite. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced in ecstasy, but when he arrived at Arit Grama, his sense perception was awakened. Ooh. Arit Grama is also called Arishta Grama. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu understood that in that village Arishtasura had been killed by Sri Krishna. While there he inquired about Radhakund, but no one could tell him where it was. The Brahmin accompanying him could also not ascertain its whereabouts. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could then understand that the holy places, known as Radhakund and Shaimakund, were at that time lost to everyone's vision. He therefore discovered Radhakund and Shaimakund, which were two reservoirs of water in two paddy fields. Although there was very little water, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was omniscient and could understand that formerly these two ponds were called Shri Radhakund and Shaimakund. In this way, Radhakund and Shaimakund were discovered. So, of course, the story goes, Radhakund appearance story is that once upon a time this big bull, Rishdashura, was attacking everybody, and Krishna killed him. So the problem with killing a bull, even if you're the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the problem is the bull is like Dharma. Just like you see, when Kali first appeared and Maharaj Parikshit encountered Kali, Kali was cutting the legs of Dharma the bull, and the legs of the bull are compared to what? Cleanliness, mercifulness, truthfulness, and austerity, four principles of religiosity. And Maharaj Parikshit saved that bull. So here, in this particular case, Krishna killed a bull. Oh my God. Yes, oh my God, killed a bull. But the bull wasn't actually a bull. The bull was actually a demon in the shape of a bull, but that's another story. So, sent by Kamsa. So the gopis said to Krishna, get away from us. You have committed a grievous, sinful activity by killing this bull. Whew. You better go bathe in all the holy places, not just the Ganges, but every single holy river, lake, mountain, whatever. You better get out of here, and we're not going near you. Of course, they were joking. They understood the bull was actually a demon. And what Krishna did is he called for all the holy places to fill Shaimakund, which is called Shaimakund. All the holy places appeared and filled the ditch in the ground, and Krishna went bathing in it. He said, now I'm purified. So you girls can also bathe in Mahakund. And the girls, the gopis, said, we're not going to bathe in your kund is contaminated. Why is it contaminated? Because you bathed in it. And you dumped off all your sins for killing the bull. We're going to make our own kund. And so they used their jewelry and everything else. Got to dig things out a little deeper. And Krishna said, okay, And you could use the water of my kund. And they said, we're not going to use the water of your kund. It's contaminated water. And so they tried to make a bucket brigade from the Manasa Ganga. Didn't work. And eventually, all the personified holy places came before the gopis and begged to be able to fill their kund. And they agreed. And so the waters of the Radha Kund, of Shama Kund, which is Krishna Kund, overflowed and filled Radha Kund. And Krishna said, this kund, the Radha Kund, is as dear to me as Srimati Radharani is, and every day I will bathe in it. And Radharani said, every day I will bathe in Shama Kund. So it's interesting. I find it quite interesting that for bathing, it seems like Radha Kund is actually more popular than Shama Kund, for various reasons. And Radharani and the gopis, they bathe more often in Shama Kund. Especially there's a place called the Manasa Pavana Ghat, where, very famous, they hang their clothes on this pilu tree and they go bathing there. And that's the place that Raghunath Das Goswami resided, the topmost acharya, or not, I wouldn't say topmost acharya, but the acharya of the topmost aspect of devotional service. That's where Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur resided. That's where Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami resided, right at that particular ghat, or bathing place of the gopis. Anyway, so, of course, Shama Kund is has a real strange shape, because as Shama Kund was being excavated, then Raghunath Das Goswami had a dream not to cut down the trees that were standing on the banks that would have been cut down had Shama Kund been excavated in the normal fashion. And he was informed that these 5 trees, were actually the 5 Pandavas. Anyway, if you're more interested in that story, read the Srimad Bhagavatam, read Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentaries on the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam to hear more details of that story. So, Adite Radhakunda Varta Puche Lokastane Keha Nahi Kaye Shangera Brahmana Najane. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu asked the local people, where is Radhakund? No one could inform him, and the Brahmin accompanying him did not know either. Tirtha Dupta Jani Prabhu Savagya Bhagavan Dvidanya Kshetre Apajale Kaila Snana. The Lord then understood that the holy place called Radhakund was no longer visible. However, being the omniscient means he sees everything, nothing evades his glance. The omniscient Supreme Personality of Godhead, he discovered Radhakund and Shamakund in 2 paddy fields. There was only a little water, but he took his bath there. So, paddy fields are generally fields in which you grow rice. Okay, got it. Deki Sabha Gramya Lokera Vishmaya Haila Mantha Preme Prabhu Kari Radha Kundera Stavana. When the people of the village saw Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu taking his bath in those 2 ponds in the middle of the paddy fields, they were very much astonished. The Lord then offered his prayers to Sri Radhakund. In other words, they were just little ponds in the middle of the agricultural fields. And so the sannyasi just jumps in the ponds and starts throwing water on himself. And they're thinking, what is going on here? Sabagopi Haiti Radha Krishnera Prayasi Taichi Radha Kunda Priya Priyara Sadasi. Of all the gopis, Radharani is the dearmost. Similarly, the lake known as Radhakund is very dear to the Lord because it is very dear to Srimati Radharani. Yatha Radha Priya Vishnos Tasya Kundam Priyam Tata Sarva Gopishu Sarvaika Vishnor Atyanta Pallabha. Just as Srimati Radharani is most dear to Lord Krishna, so her lake, known as Radhakund, is also very dear to him. Of all the gopis, Srimati Radharani is certainly the most beloved. This is a verse from the Padma Purana, Ye kunde nitya Krishna radhikara sange jale jala kelikare tire rasa range. In that lake, Lord Krishna and Srimati Radharani used to sport daily in the water and have a rasa dance on the bank. Se kunde ye eka baras kare snana tanre radhasama prema Krishna kare dana. Indeed, Lord Krishna gives ecstatic love like that of Srimati Radharani to whoever bathes in that lake even once in his life. Wow. Okay, let's talk about bathing in Radhakund. When I go there, I sprinkle water on my head. I don't do a full bath. The reason is because Radhakund is so sacred to me, I do not want to put my feet in the kund. And there are even many great devotees who live on the banks of Radhakund, and they take a lota and they pour the water over their heads rather than stick their feet into the kund. I know the water goes to the feet, I know that. But still, they don't put their feet into the kund. They actually pour water on their heads from the lota. That's how they take their snan or bath. Kundera mathuri yena radhara madhurima kundera mahima yena radhara mahima. The attraction of Radhakund is as sweet as that of Srimati Radharani. Similarly, the glories of the Kund lake are as great as Srimati Radharani's. Shri Radeva Hare Stadiya Sarasi Prashtad Bhutai Swaragunar Yasham Shiyuta Mahavendur Anisham Prichiktaya Kridati Premasmin Bata Radikeva Labate Yasyam Sakrit Snana Krit Tashavai Mahimat Yata Madhurima Kenashtu Varnya Chitao. Because of its wonderful transcendental qualities, Radhakund is as dear to Krishna as Srimati Radharani. It was in that lake that the all-opulent Lord Sri Krishna performed his pastimes with Srimati Radharani with great pleasure and transcendental bliss. Whoever bathes just once in Radhakund attains Srimati Radharani's loving attraction for Sri Krishna. Who within this world can describe the glories and sweetness of Sri Radhakund? Wow. Maybe I should go there tonight. This verse is found in the Govinda Lilamrita 7:102. Emata stutikare prema vishtahana tire nrichakare kunda Lila sanariyaha. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu thus offered prayers to Radhakund, overwhelmed by ecstatic love. He danced on the bank, remembering the pastimes Lord Krishna performed on the bank of Radhakund. Kundera amritika lana tilaka karila vatacharya dwara mritika sange kare laila. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu then marked his body with tilak made from the mud of Radhakund, and with the help of Balabhadra Bhattacharya, he collected some of the mud and took it with him. Wow. Tabi chale aila Prabhu Sumana Sarovara Tahan Govardhana Deki Haila Hula. From Radhakund, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Sumanas Lake, in his auspicious mind lake. When he saw Govardhan Hill from there, he was overwhelmed with joy. Sumanas. That may be Manasa Ganga. Anyway, I'm not sure about which is the Sumanas lake. Govardhana Deki Prabhu Haila Dandavat Ekashila Lingya Haila Unmata. When the Lord saw Govardhan Hill, he immediately offered obeisances. Falling down on the ground like a rod, he embraced one piece of rock from Govardhan Hill and became mad. Wow. And I have two Govardhan Shilas here. I am so fortunate. Preme Matachale Aila Govardhana Grama Hudi Deva Deki Tahan Hahila Pranama. Mad with ecstatic love, the Lord came to the village known as Govardhan. That's in the center of Govardhan Hill. There he saw the deity named Haridev and offered his obeisances unto him. So Haridev is the presiding Vishnu deity of Govardhan Hill. And the Goswami said, before you circumambulate Govardhan, you should take blessings from Haridev. So, the interesting thing is Haridev is a self-manifested deity. I'll tell you the story. Once upon a time, the gopis were looking for Krishna, and they were chanting, "Oh, Haridev, Haridev, Haridev." And all of a sudden, Krishna appeared as this deity, holding up Govardhan Hill. Very, very old temple, right in the middle of the Manasaganga area. Not in the middle of Manasaganga, but it's in the middle of the Manasaganga area in the city of Govardhan. Mathura Padmera Paschimadale Anravasa Harideva Narayana Hari Parakasha. Harideva is an incarnation of Narayana, and his residence is on the western petal of the lotus of Mathura. Harideva Aginache Preme Matahana Sabaloka Dehite Aila Ascharya Shunya. Mad with ecstatic love, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu began to dance before the Haridev deity. Hearing of the Lord's wonderful activities, all the people came to see him. Prabhu Prema Saundarya Dekhi Loke Chamatkara Haridevera Vricha Prabhura Karila Satkara. The people were astonished when they saw Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's ecstatic love and personal beauty. The priest who served the Harideva deity offered the Lord a good reception. Bhattacharya Brahmakunde Pakayana Kaila Brahmakunde Snanakari Prabhu Viksha Kaila. At Brahmakund, which is practically right next to the Haridev temple, the Bhattacharya cooked food, and the Lord, after taking his bath of Brahmakund, accepted his lunch. Now, one thing that's interesting, it's like an advertisement, that we have this wonderful program to clean places like Brahmakund, because Brahmakund has been in a state of disrepair for a long time. So to clean Brahmakund and clean some of the other places around Govardhan, actually a lot of the places around Govardhan Hill, and sort of renovate them, not only clean them. And if you're interested in participating in these programs, as well as helping the residents of Vrindavan, or Govardhan, that is, you can look it up in radharani.com, www.radharani.com. It's very easy to remember that one. And then you can help renovate all these holy places, as well as take care of the residents of Govardhan. It's an opportunity for all of you. Say, Ratri Rahila Haridevera Mandire Ratre Mahaprabhu Kare Manete Vichare. That night the Lord stayed at the temple of Haridev, and during the night he began to reflect. Govardhano Pareyami Kabuna Chadiba Gopala Raihira Darashana Kemane Poriba. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thought, since I shall not at any time climb Govardhan Hill, how shall I be able to see Gopala Rai? So Gopal was the deity discovered by Madhavendra Poi, who was worshipped at the top of Govardhan Hill. Later on, he was taken to Natwar and worshipped as Sri Nachi. So Lord Chaitanya wanted to see him, but Lord Chaitanya, taking the position of a devotee, certainly did not want to put his feet on Govardhan Hill, because Govardhan is non-different than Krishna. He's also Krishna's servant, but he's non-different than Krishna, so no one wants to put their feet on the deity. Phew. Eta Mane, so he has a dilemma here. He wants to see Gopal, but he can't climb the hill. So what is he going to do? So Gopal makes a trick. And that's what we're going to hear about. Etamane Kari Prabhu, Mona Kari Rahila, Janya Gopala Kichu, Bange Utaila. Thinking in this way, the Lord remained silent, and Lord Gopal, knowing his contemplation, played a trick. Anarukshave Shailam, Swasmai Bhaktabhimanine, Avaruya Giri Krishna, Koraya Swamadarshayat. Coming down from Govardhan Hill, Lord Gopal granted an interview with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was unwilling to climb the hill, thinking himself a devotee of Lord Krishna. Anakuta name grame Gopalera stiti, Rajaputa lokere se grame vasati. Gopal stayed in a village called Anakuta Grama on Govardhan Hill. The villagers who lived in that village were mainly from Rajasthan. I've been there. You're all invited to come there with me someday. Maybe I should go tomorrow. The village name Nanakuta Gram is referred to in the Bhakti Ratnakara 5th wave, Gopa Gopi Punjayena Kotuka Avara E Hetu Aniora Nama Se Ihara Anakuta Stana E Deka Srinivasa E Stana Darshane Haya Purna Abhilasha. Here, all the gopis and the gopas enjoyed wonderful pastimes with Sri Krishna. Therefore, this place is called Aniyor. Wow. The Anakut ceremony was celebrated here. O Srinivas, whoever sees this place, has all his desires fulfilled. So Aniyor means, give me more. Anyor, Anyor. Why is it called give me more, give me more? It's called give me more because when they did the Anakut ceremony for Govardhan, over 5,000 years ago, Govardhan ate everything that he could see. Didn't eat the people, of course, didn't eat the cows or the animals, but he ate all the vegetables, rice, sweets, and everything like that. And he wasn't satisfied. And he kept saying, Anyor, 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 give me more, give me more. And everyone was very worried because Krishna had assumed this gigantic form. And he wanted more and more and more, and they were really disturbed because they didn't have any more. But finally, one intelligent devotee offered Govardhan a tulsi leaf, and Govardhan said, I am satisfied. So it is also stated, Kundera Nikata Deka Nivida Kanana Etai Gopala Chilahana Sangopana. Look at the dense forest near the Kund. It was there that Gopal was concealed. Also, the Stavavali, Brajavilasa Stava 75 by Raghunath Das Goswami states, Rajendra Variyar Vitakbhusham Muchayar Duritva Brahat Kayam Agar Ruptikaha Parena Radam Chalayam Vibhumte Yatran Nakutam Tadaham Purpadye. When Nanda Maharaj offered a large quantity of food to Govardhan Hill, Krishna assumed a gigantic form and eagerly invited everyone to ask boons from him. Then, deceiving even Srimati Radharani, ate all the offered food. Let me take shelter of the place known as Anakuta, where Lord Krishna enjoyed these pastimes. Wow. And this Anakuta Kshetra is right next to the village of Anyor. Amazing. And in this village, there's a big deity of Dauji, who was installed by Brajanava, Krishna's great-grandson. And you have to know where it is, and you have to ask the people to let you in the temple. Beautiful, beautiful big deity of Dauji. Ekajana siratre gramike valila, tumara grama marite, turuka dari shahila. Shahila, sorry. One person came to the village and informed the inhabitants, the Turkish soldiers are now preparing to attack your village. Aji ratre palaha narakiha ekajana takoralana vaga asiva kaliyavana. Flee this village tonight. and do not allow one person to remain. Take the deity with you and leave, for the Muslim soldiers will come tomorrow. The reason he's saying this is because the Muslim soldiers would come and smash the deities and kill the Vaishnavas and even disinter the Vaishnavas who were buried there, in the samadhis, and take their bodies out of samadhi. Hold on, I have to. Some person keeps trying to call me. Wait a second. That's good. Okay. Sorry for the brief interlude. So they would take the bodies out of the samadhis and desecrate the bodies along with smashing the deities. So they were really worried. And so, Shunya gramera loka chintitaila pratame gopalalana gantuli grame ila. Hearing this, all the villagers became very anxious. They first took Gopal and moved him to a village known as Gantuli, which is right near Govardhan Hill. We've been there before. Beautiful deity, beautiful place. And that's where Radha and Krishna had one of their secret marriages. Gantuli means you tie the cloth of the bride and groom together, and that's considered a marriage. That's why it's called Gantuli. Vipragrihe Gopalera Nibite Sevana Grama Jada Haila Palaila Savrajana. The Gopal deity was kept in the house of a Brahmin, and his worship was conducted secretly. Everyone fled, and thus the village of Anakuta was deserted. Wow. Aiche Malachabaya Gopala Bhage Bhare Bhare Mandira Chare Kunje Rahe Kibagramantare. Due to fear of the Muslims, the Gopal deity was moved from one place to another again and again. Thus, giving up his temple, Lord Gopal would sometimes live in a bush and sometimes in one village after another. Pratakale Prabhu Manasaganga Yakari Snada Govardhana Parikramaya Karila Prayana. In the morning, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu took his bath in a lake called the Manasaganga. He then circumambulated Govardhan Hill. So there's a story about the Manasaganga. It means the mind Ganges, because the Manasaganga appeared from the mind of Krishna. So there's a story of another demon that was killed by Krishna, the Vatsasura. This was a calf demon. So the demon had taken birth as the calf, or not birth, had taken shape as the calf. And so Krishna killed him. And then the coward boys, this is very similar to the Radhakunda story. The coward boys said, "We're not going near you, Krishna. You got to go to the Ganges." At least they didn't say like the gopis that Krishna had to go to all the holy places. They just said the Ganges. And Krishna said, "I'm not leaving Vrindavan. I'm going to create the Ganges from my mind." So the Ganges actually appeared from Krishna's mind. Wow. And many pastimes occurred at this Manasaganga. One pastime is that one time Nanda Maharaj wanted to go to the Ganges River, and Krishna didn't want him to leave Vrindavan, so Krishna arranged that the Ganga Devi, the presiding deity of the Ganges, appeared from the Manasaganga and showed Nanda Maharaj that the Manasaganga was none different than the Ganges. Another time, the gopis wanted to cross the Manasaganga. It's the largest body of water. It's supposed to be the largest body of water in Braj. So anyway, so they wanted to cross the Manasaganga, and they couldn't find any boatman to help them go across. And they were looking. They couldn't find a boatman. Finally, they found one old rickety boat and one old rickety boatman. He was a really old guy. And they thought, how are we going to get across this river, or this lake, this lake in this old boat? But we have to cross because we want to go and bring our milk products to the ceremony that's being done right now at Govindakund. So they went to the boatman and said, "Can you help us cross?" And the boatman said, "Yes, I can help you cross. All right, so they all got in the boat with the milk products, and they started to cross the lake. And as they were just starting, the boatman said, I'm just so old and weak. I can't row anymore. I need something to eat. So the gopis thought, all right, let's give him some of the milk products. So they gave him some of the milk products. He ate them, actually ate them all up. And almost all. And he said, oh, now I'm just tired. I can't row anymore. And so I need a massage. So girls, give me a massage. And they said, yeah, we'll give you a massage. We'll throw you in the Manasa Ganga. So get going, boatman. All right, all right. So he started to row, and unfortunately, or fortunately, as it turned out, the boat had a hole in it, and it started to sink, and the water started to go in. And the boatman said, we're going to have to throw some stuff overboard. So the gopis, unfortunately, threw these pots overboard, which had milk products in them. And it still wasn't enough. And then the boatman said to the gopis, I guess you really have to throw your clothes overboard. And the gopis looked at the boatman and said, we will throw you overboard. So get rowing. And then there was a terrible storm, and the boat was rocking back and forth. The gopis didn't know what to do. And then Srimati Radharani spotted under the belt of this old boatman, there was a flute. And then she looked very carefully at the old boatman, and she saw it was Krishna. And then she embraced Krishna, and then the storm went away, and they lived happily ever after. That's what happened in the Manasa Ganga. Very interesting place, and those of you who want to go to Govardhan with me, I will show you all these things. So, Govardhana Deki Prabhu, Prema Vishtahana, Nachate Nachate Chalela, Shloka Padiha. Just by seeing Govardhan Hill, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu became ecstatic with love of Krishna. While dancing and dancing, recited the following verse. Wow. Handayam Madhurir Balahari Dasavaryo Yad Rama Krishna Charana Sparasha Pramodaha Manam Tanoti Sahago Ganayos Tayoryat Paniya Suyavasa Kandara Kandamulahai. Of all the devotees, this Govardhan hill is the best. Oh, my friends, this hill supplies Krishna and Balaram, as well as their calves, cows, and cowherd friends, with all kinds of necessities, water for drinking, very soft grass, caves, fruits, flowers, and vegetables. In this way, the hill offers respect to the Lord. Being touched by the lotus feet of Krishna and Balaram, Govardhan hill appears very jubilant. This is a quotation, of course, from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 21st chapter, text 18. It was spoken by the gopis when Lord Krishna and Balaram entered the forest in the autumn. The gopis spoke among themselves and glorified Krishna and Balaram for their pastimes. Govinda Kundari Tirthe Prabhu Kaila Snana Tahans Chunila Gopala Gela Kantule Grama. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then took his bath in a lake called Govinda Kund. Wow. Oh my God. That's the Kund that was formed. Let me explain that. When Indra was apologizing to Krishna, and he took the celestial Ganges down, brought by Airavata, his elephant, and he was bathing Krishna with the water of that Kund, of the water of celestial Ganges. And the water washed over Krishna, the Abhishek, and formed Govinda Kund. And Govinda Kund is a very famous place. There's so many pastimes that occurred there. And so many nice things around Govinda Kund. And while he was there, he heard that the Gopal deity had already gone to Gantuligran. So, I think it's time to end now. So that is text 35. So we ended with text 35, 3 to 35, chapter 18. And tomorrow we will continue. Okay, so now we will, this was an ecstatic day. just hearing about Govardhan and wishing I was there. So let us unmute and allow you to unmute yourselves. Okay, you are allowed to unmute yourselves. You're allowed to type a question, or you are allowed to raise your hand like a classroom and then ask a question. So who has a question? Oh, here's a question. Isn't Manasa Ganga where your quadcopter took a bath once? No. Not the Manasa Ganga. It was Govinda Kund. I lost one of my photographic devices in Govinda Kund. But it was rescued by my friend. No, actually it wasn't Govinda Kund. It was Kushma Sarovara, sorry. It was Kushma Sarovara. Yeah, now I remember. It wasn't Govinda Kund. It was Kushma Sarovara. So that's my quadcopter got purified. Of course, it didn't work after that, but that's another story. So any other questions or comments? And actually, I was not operating it. It was operated by someone else. If I had been operating it, never would have taken a bath like that. It was someone else's fault. Okay. Okay, so there's a message. All right, let's take the question from Krishna Priya. Okay.
Jai Gurudev, please accept my obeisances. So I just wanted to I was really inspired to make an announcement, like, because you had brought up about the service that is done by Radha Seva in Radhakund. And just before I came online, I'd seen on Facebook, they were talking about how you had always really desired to have a school for the children in Radhakund, and you had worked really hard to, raise funds and get the land. And then there was so many things that happened. I think some of the devotees online might know the history, but many might not. So it was the government had, basically taken down that property. So that desire always remained that the children of Radhakund, should be given education, and not to take them away from the Dham, but to actually give them more of their culture and to help them also to be able to rise out of situations that become very unfavorable for them. So now they've started this after school program, and it was just posted today, requesting if people would like to help for this after school program where the children are getting after school education. And they're learning about Srila Prabhupada, they're learning about their own culture, they're chanting Hare Krishna. So I just wanted to bring this up because this is a month of Kartik. It's the most sacred month. And Radharani's Radha Kund is right there. So I really wanted to just speak out spontaneously. No one's asked me to do this, how important it is and how Radharani will be so pleased if we serve the Vaishnavas of the Dham. So I would really requesting everyone to participate in these wonderful programs. There's the program for the feeding of the women and the residents, and there's the cleaning of the Kund, and now there's just this magnificent after school program. And I just feel really, really thankful, and I wanted to just speak about it a little bit. So thank you for giving me the opportunity.
That's very nice. Thank you, Krishna Priya. And I just posted the actually I just posted the URL, which is www.radharani.com if you're interested in looking at it. And there's all sorts of information on that URL. URL means the website address, in case those of you are not familiar with that nomenclature. All of our desires were filled earlier at the Kund. Wow. I'm not going to tell you. There it is. Just have to have spiritual desires. If you have spiritual desires, first of all, Krishna knows your actual desires. So, it's not that whatever you say you're going to get, but what you actually, the soul wants. That's really the problem. Not the problem. That's an interesting mistake. It's the problem. It's really what the soul wants that determines what your desire is. I thought that was really funny. Instead of getting what you ask for, you get what the soul wants. Yes, your desires are fulfilled. And if you go to the desire trees, you embrace the desire trees. And Krishna will only give you what you need, not necessarily what you ask for. So, and the only way to fulfill your desires is to become Krishna conscious. That's another point. You can't fulfill your desires by getting the material object of the desires. You could fulfill your desires by becoming Krishna conscious, because then the desires are no longer there. The only way to fulfill your desires is to extinguish them. And the only way to extinguish them is to love Krishna. So, don't worry about your desires. So, who else has a question? Next year, hopefully at this time, we will be in Braj. If everything works out, we will be there and be able to broadcast from there. Of course, not at the same time, because this is midnight. It's actually later than midnight right now. It's like early in the morning in Braj. So, any other questions or comments or problems or issues? Raise your hand. Type in the text box or unmute your mic. No? Oh my God. Okay, so, here's one. The soul's desires are fulfilled. Krishna's not going to fulfill your material desires that are going to interfere with your spiritual progress. Krishna's intelligent enough not to give you things that are impediments. You are blessed to join us at Govardhan. In the future, we will have many, many pilgrimages at Govardhan and retreats at Govardhan. But generally, when I go to Braj, I spend my time at Govardhan rather than anywhere else. Because everything's there at Govardhan. All the holy places are there. So, if there's no other comments or arguments or problems or issues, we're going to end now. And we'll see everybody tomorrow night at the same time, same station. Okay, all glory